Worldwide, 2.5 million patients suffer with MS, and in the UK, 131,750 patients suffer from the condition. It can affect all systems. You know, people can have visual disturbances, bladder difficulties, bowel problems, sexual dysfunction, spasms, and have trouble walking.
MS is an autoimmune condition in which certain cells of the immune system start to malfunction and attack healthy nerves of the brain and the spinal cord.
It mistakes the covering of the nerve, which we call myelin, for some kind of foreign body, and then it starts to attack the myelin, and it causes inflammation that kind of chews away at the myelin. The messages from the brain to the rest of the body, it gets a bit distorted and it doesn't work properly. That's why people get these symptoms.
My main symptoms were numbness. I started feeling some tingling in my legs and my arms, and after that I started feeling like some numbness, and they were really strong. Like I got worried when I felt that somebody could cut my arms and I wouldn't feel because they were so it was so intense.
In 2012, I had a really big relapse and lost sort of sensation down my right-hand side. So I had numbness and tingling, which progressed through my whole right side of my body.
I had an episode when I couldn't feel anything. I was outside in the sun and I couldn't feel the breeze of the air or the temperatures.
I had vision problems that actually got better when I moved to Spain, but they never fully disappeared.
The searches that I did showed up two really important bodies of work, really, that influenced my decisions around the changes. The first one was Professor Roy Swank's work that he did around dietary intervention in MS. His focus was around reducing the saturated fat intake significantly. And then he followed the people that he applied this to over a really long period of time.
The study followed the fat intake of the subjects for 34 years. Many patients decided to stop the diet, and so he was able to compare the dieters versus non-dieters. The good dieters' symptoms did not worsen significantly. These subjects had an intake of 16 grams per day on average. 95% survived and were physically active 34 years later. So if we look at the bad dieters to compare outcomes, these subjects who did not stick to the diet had an average of 38 grams of saturated fat per day. 7% were still physically active 34 years later. 45 out of 72 died from MS-related causes. More recently, there was an update to these results, 15 years after the original results were published. Out of the 63 subjects that survived, 47 had stuck to the diet. Swank also interviewed 15 of them, now aged 72 to 84. 13 were physically normal and walked without difficulty, and 2 required assistance with walking. This study helped to show that if people with MS stuck to the low saturated fat diet strictly over their lifetime, it could allow people with MS to live a fully active life to an advanced age. This study was a huge piece of hope for those with MS.
Another top tip that I do encourage all my patients with MS is to really consider going 100% dairy-free.
I found out that there were certain foods causing an inflammatory response in my body. And these were foods like dairy, gluten, refined sugar, and meat. So I cut all of those out in one go. And I also found out that there were foods that actually promote an anti-inflammatory effect in the body, which help the body to heal.